Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Kevin, and today I'm going to be reviewing my ICECO JP40Pro refrigerator. It's a tongue twister, but I've had this for just over a year, and those of you that remember my other channel, I had a Toyota Tacoma, and this spent a little bit of time in my Tacoma, and then it bounced around in a trailer. Although it's dirty, it's been beat up, it's been used, this is still a really good refrigerator, and I do have one complaint about it. So here it is, the JP40 Pro, and as you can see right away, I have put this refrigerator through its paces. I've used it quite a bit. Let's see. The only thing on the outside is, and this wasn't from me, I don't think, bouncing around, but I think this is plastic must be glued on and the glue separating, which, I mean, like I said, this thing's a year old. You can see it kind of separating. I don't know if it's just from like extreme heat being in the bed of the truck. But I can say I used to sleep in my truck, and I had an ICECO refrigerator in the back seat of it, and this probably is one of the quietest running refrigerators. I don't know which compressor is in there. We can look in the settings right here, or the product and stuff. I guess it's not really gonna say, but like I said, this refrigerator we're gonna turn on here in a second, but it's really quiet, and the only complaint I have is the lid. Like, sometimes, I guess it's gonna work now, but I had a real big issue when I first got the refrigerator, and it wouldn't lock. Or sometimes you go to pull this in and the spring wasn't strong enough to pull those guys in, and you could not open the refrigerator. You'd literally be locked out of the refrigerator. I guess, of course, now that I mention that, I see that side. Oh, there it goes. Sometimes I would just close the refrigerator, lock it, and then it wasn't the latch wasn't strong enough to pull those pins in, but of course, now it's gonna work. But that was my only complaint. Like I said, this thing's beat up. I've used it. It's been in, you know, the bed of a Toyota Tacoma is all black. So you talk about the Florida sun beating down on that, just baking this thing to death. And it's a trooper, man. This thing worked. And like I said, I've had probably 6 or 7 ICECO refrigerators, and all the internals, compressors and everything like that, they work great. It's just sometimes they cheap out on lids and latches. That's really the only thing you have to worry about when you buy an ICECO, is just if you can put your hands on one before you go buy one off the internet, the lids just get really cheap. Like, this thing is just really light, and I don't know. It's just, maybe it's just me being picky, but sometimes you get a refrigerator and you're like, wow, this thing's strong, and then you go to open it up and you're like, wow, they really cheaped out on the lid. But the good thing about the Pro is you can open it up from both sides, or you can just take the whole thing off. You can take the whole lid, just removes, so you can kind of reach in from all different angles. Like I said, this thing, don't mind a dirty refrigerator. This thing was well loved. All right, so we'll go ahead and turn it on. So there, see, that's the lid. Comes all the way off. We'll go ahead and turn this thing on, hit the power button. Power button, 64 degrees. It's set to 32, I believe. Yep, set to 32, so it'll come on here in a second. I don't know if you can hear it on the phone, but it just turned on. And just like every other refrigerator, pretty much all the 12-volt ones, they're all gonna pull just under 50 watts for the refrigerator. So, like I said, it's got to cool down, so it's gonna draw a lot, and then once it cools off and it kind of just runs on and off, then it'll draw less power. But as you can see right here, it knows the lid is open, so it's trying to tell you close the lid. One cool feature, which ICECO does this, I think, on all their Pro models, but there is a plug on the front and a plug on the back. So, like, no matter what kind of configuration you have, which direction you have the refrigerator pointing, you can always use a plug on either side. It's closest to whatever power source that you have. So if you have the refrigerator going straight in like a van, you can use the plug on the front, or you can use the plug on the back, you know, so you can kind of hide the wire and just be more convenient to your application. So that's going to be a wrap of the JP40 Pro. It's been a really good refrigerator. There is a really nice handle right here, and there's wheels in the back. So if you're like a boater and you got to get the refrigerator from the truck down the dock to the boat or something like that, really good refrigerator. Probably really good for like beach and stuff like that, or just camping. It's really convenient, really light if you want to pick it up, take it out, you know, in and out of the vehicle pretty often. You don't keep it in there full time. So it is really good to have a smaller refrigerator like this. But oftentimes when we go out, we like the larger refrigerators because we usually have drinks and then, you know, eggs and breakfast and dinner, lunch. So you got to pack a whole lot of meals in there, especially when you have more than like 2 or 3 people camping. So like I said, we usually use the larger refrigerators. But as far as ICECO goes, I've had, I think, 5 or 6 of the refrigerators in the past. And like I said, I've never had an issue. But this JP40 is the only one that I've had with just a really crappy spring handle on the lid. So like I said, that's my only complaint. I think it stopped working now. Sometimes you just gotta get rough with it. But like I said, these refrigerators, when they first came out, ICECO, not too many people I think knew about them, but I would say they're probably almost top of the line. They're definitely my favorite. I'd say ARB is probably #1 in the refrigerator world. It used to be Dometic coming in second, but I think ICECO is probably second. Dometic keeps kind of dropping. They're getting really cheaper and their products aren't lasting. And if you talk to people that have had Dometic refrigerators, a lot of them have been returned. They need a specific amount of voltage to run, and if your vehicle or power system or something like that doesn't supply that even 12 volts exactly and drops down, then the refrigerator throws an error code and it gets really annoying. So a lot of the returns probably aren't Dometic themselves, but they're just really finicky refrigerators, and you can just buy an ICECO and not worry about it. But like I said, I'm not a salesman. I don't make any money off this, and they never paid me to make a review. But I might be able to get a discount code if there's anybody that wants an ICECO refrigerator, anything off the website. I can email them and see if I can get a group discount code or anything like that for you guys if you want a refrigerator. But other than that, like I said, no complaints with ICECO JP40 other than just crappy lid.